श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम अखंडानंद संबोधः वंदनाद्यस्य जायते गोविंदं तमहं वंदे चिदानंदतनं गुरुं. So yesterday we were seeing, yesterday means after a gap, we are seeing the important topic of Vedanta, the meaning of Tattvamasī. In between we got this book released, Advaita Rasamanjari. Okay, so this we did it during COVID period. So we got this book released, and then we completed independent treatise. I wrote an independent treatise, so that was also completed during this period. And there is one more book in pipeline, which is Dakshinamurti Stotra, which will be released soon. So these were things which took place during this gap. And we are coming back to this tattvamasī. Okay, tasmāt tattvamasītyatra lakṣyana bhāgalakṣaṇā vākyārthasya tvakandhika rasatā siddhaye matā. Tasmāt tattvamasītyatra lakṣyana bhāgalakṣaṇā vākyārthasya tu akhanda ekarasatā siddhaye matā. Therefore, tattvamasītyatra, in the statement of tattvamasī, what happened? Tasmat, he is concluding what discussion happened before. He is concluding the topic of lakṣana, the implied meaning. So we said the direct word meaning is impossible, therefore we have to resort to the indirect implied meaning. So to understand that, he is entering into this implied meaning discussion. So what is this implied meaning discussion? He says in this we saw bhāgalakṣaṇa, jahallakṣana, ajahallakṣana, ajahallakṣana. Three kinds of implied meanings. During that we also discussed the word meaning or implied meaning. You cannot resort to the adjective-adjectified relationship. The adjective-adjectified relationship is like the white flower, blue flower, etc. A white lotus, blue lotus, etc. There the white and blue are intertwined, mingled, inseparable with lotus. That is what we call as karya anvayi. It is in association, completely mingled with the effect. We cannot understand tattvamasī through that. We use a different approach, which is upadhi upadheya, the embodied embodiment. Upadhi means embodiment. Upadheya means embodied. The embodied relationship, not the adjective-adjectified relationship. In upadhi upadheya, the example we saw is like the room space, pot space. The pot is not intertwined with the space. You remove the pot, there is only space. You remove the room, there is only space. This room is not mingled with the space. It has no direct association with the space. It is just a limiting adjunct. We resort to this embodied embodiment relationship, not the adjective-adjectified relationship. Even accepting that, we cannot use the jahat lakṣana, giving up relationship. Jahat lakṣana means giving up. So what is that giving up definition? What is the giving up implied meaning? Giving up implied meaning means we saw the example. With the example, we'll understand this. The hut is in the Gangayam Ghoshaha. The hut is in the Ganges. When we say the hut in Ganges, we cannot understand the hut to be in the Ganges flow. So we completely give up the Ganges. We resort to the shore, the banks. The hut is on the banks of Ganges. That is how we understand. That is the jahat lakṣana. The second, ajahat lakṣana. There, when we say white is running, red is running. So what we mean is this white horse, white car, white dog, whatever is white, we refer to that white running, white is running. So we don't give up the white, but we support the white with some new ideas, but new words. We supply some new words to that white to understand the meaning. What is white? Because white is a color. Color or any attribute cannot be independent without the attribute. So when we say white is running, a white car is running. Okay. So the definition jahat lakshana is impossible. The definition jahat lakshana is also impossible. Tasmat, therefore, tattvamasītyatra, in the statements of tattvamasī, etc. Vākyārtha, tattvamasī, etc. When I say in all the ultimate statements, which is similar to tattvamasī. Okay? Vākyārtha, to understand the vākyārtha, the word, the meaning of the statement. In which way? To establish it, to be establishing, to establish the statement, to establish, it is the non-duality. To understand that the statement is establishing the non-duality, bhāgalakṣaṇā lakṣana mata, bhāgalakṣaṇā lakṣana. Bhāgalakṣaṇā, the word lakṣana here means lakṣana. Lakṣana, the second word means definition, not definition, inherent nature. The kind of definition, or the definition itself, the kind of definition we accept is bhāgalakṣaṇā. Wait. Jahat ajat lakṣana is bhāgalakṣaṇā. Normally, in other books, we see it as bhāgatyāgalakṣaṇā. Here, tyaga is given up through madhyama pada lopa. We give in a kind of samasa, madhyama pada lopa samasa, we drop the in between word. Bhāgatyāgalakṣaṇā, bhāgalakṣaṇā became bhāgalakṣaṇā. Okay? So, whether you say bhāgatyāgalakṣaṇā, bhāgalakṣaṇā, jahat ajat lakṣana, they are all same. Partly giving up, partly not giving up. That is what is mata, some mata accepted. What is this bhāgatyāgalakṣana or bhāgalakṣana or jahat ajat lakṣana? For that he says, bhāgaṃ viruddhaṃ santyajyāvirodho lakṣyate yathā yayā sā bhāgalakṣaṇayityāhu lakṣaṇajñā vicakṣaṇāḥ. This is the definition for bhāgalakṣana, jahat ajat lakṣana. Okay? Bhāgaṃ viruddhaṃ santyajyāvirodho lakṣyate yayā sā bhāgalakṣaṇayityāhu kaha lakṣaṇajñā vicakṣaṇāḥ. So he says, viruddhaṃ bhāgaṃ, the contradictory portion. Bhaga means portion. The contradictory portion, santyajya, giving up the contradictory portion or part. Aviruddhaṃ bhāgaṃ, the non-contradictory portion or part, yayā lakṣyate, through which it is implied. That which implies the non-contradictory portion by giving up the contradictory portion. Sā bhāgalakṣaṇā iti ahu. That is what is called as bhāgalakṣaṇā. Called as bhāgalakṣaṇā. By who? Who refer to this as bhāgalakṣaṇā? Lakṣaṇajñā, people who know about the definitions. Who are they? Some people who know. No. Vicakṣaṇāḥ, chakshinkyani, knowledge. Meaning people who have knowledge. Those people, the Pandits, they say that this is what is bhāgalakṣaṇā. Okay, so bhāgalakṣaṇā is established. So, still, even if you say giving up partly and not giving up, which should I give up and which should I not give up? To understand this is important, because in an equation 2a equal to 2b, 2a equal to 2b. Okay, so 2a equal to 2b. Cross the 2 here, cross the 2 here. We have a equal to b. Instead of 2a equal to 2b, let me say xa equal to xb. Cross the x here, cross the x there. You will establish a equal to b. And that's not what we want. Our approach is different. Like Maya avachana chaitanya, Maya consciousness equal to avidya consciousness. That is what we have. That's the equation. Maya consciousness equal to avidya consciousness. Consciousness cancels. You say Maya equal to avidya. That is what gets established. But there is no point in establishing Maya equal to avidya. There is no point. There is no result. There is no prayojana in establishing Maya equal to avidya. Because we have already accepted Maya and avidya to be not different. Maya and avidya are not different. Don't get into this confusion. Maya and avidya. But Maya is established as Shuddha Sattva. Avidya is Malina Sattva. All this we say. Maya is pure Sattvic and avidya is impure Sattvic, etc. All these are to explain things. When you have doubt, we explain. That's all. There is no reality about it. How can there be multiple kinds of ignorance? Ignorance is ignorance. What is the speciality of one ignorance over another? Your ignorance is not better than my ignorance. Ignorance is ignorance. Okay. So, Maya equal to avidya, there is no point. Similarly, they establish the creation to be Mula Vidya and Tula Vidya, etc. This whole idea is stupid. And some people go on to Mula Vidya nirasya. There is no Mula Vidya, there is only Tula Vidya. That's also so stupid. What is the adjective for absence? Where is the possibility? Blue absence, red absence. Can you say that? There can be no adjectives for absence. So, whether like in Panchadashi, Vidyaranya Swamiji, he says, Samvid eka rupa na vidyate, Samvid, knowledge is of one form, it does not differ. Similarly here, avidya eka rupa na vidyate, avidya, ignorance, Maya is of one form, it does not differ. Maya or avidya, whatever you call, that is what is vritti is all about, right? So, he is to understand this. How is tattvamasī meaning understood through the bhāgalakṣaṇa, jathā. To explain that, we have to understand an example. So he says, soyam devadatta iti vākyaṃ, vākyārtha eva vā, devadattaikyarupa vākyārtha anavabodhakam, deśakālādivaiśiṣṭyaṃ, viruddhāṃśaṃ nirasya aviruddhaṃ devadattadehamātraṃ svalakṣaṇam, bhāgalakṣaṇayā samyaglakṣayatyanayā yathā. So, ayam devadatta iti vākyaṃ vākyārtha eva devadatta aikya rupa swa vākyārtha anabodhakam deśakālādivaiśiṣṭyaṃ viruddhāṃśaṃ nirasya aviruddhaṃ devadattadehamātraṃ svalakṣaṇam bhāgalakṣaṇayā samyaglakṣayate anaya yathā. So, ayam devadatta. The example is, that is this devadatta. He is that. You remember that? That fellow. That is this person. How can that fellow be this fellow? It is impossible. Because you saw that fellow there in another city, this fellow here in this city. You see that fellow in a different time, you see this fellow in a different time. You saw that fellow in different costumes and this fellow in different costumes. So, that and this can never be one. That is devadatta can never be one. There are so many contradictions, right? So, see, he is that devadatta in this, whether it is iti vākyaṃ vākyārtha eva, whether it is a statement or the meaning of the statement, devadatta aikya rupa, so vākyārtha anabodhakam does not give you the knowledge of the identity between the devadatta. When you say, so I am Devadatta, he is that Devadatta, that statement or that meaning of the statement does not give you the identity between two Devadattas. What? This is what I thought is the right understanding. Now you say it is impossible, it is not right understanding. Your understanding is right, but it is not right. How? He says, deśakālādivaiśiṣṭyaṃ. There is a contradiction here. Viśiṣṭata, speciality, difference. What is the difference? That fellow is associated with that time, that place, that costume, etc., externalities. This fellow is associated with this time, this place, and this costume, etc. So there is a time, space, causation difference. Do you understand now? Time, space, causation difference, which differentiates the identity from that person to this person. So by giving up the time, space, causation, deśakālādivaiśiṣṭyaṃ, nirasya, by removing it, by negating it, aviruddhaṃ svalakṣaṇam, that which is non-contradictory, which is the inherent nature of the devadatta body, devadattadehamātraṃ, the devadatta as the person. Fat, lean, that is also contradictory. Give up. With dress, without dress, with dhoti, with pants, that's also contradictory. With beard, without beard, that is also contradictory. That time, that place, that is also contradictory. So give up all that which is contradictory in both these. One person, one embodiment. Anaya bhāgalakṣaṇayā yathā samyaglakṣyate. As this is implied through the bhāgalakṣaṇa, the implied meaning of the third kind of implied meaning, ajal-lakṣana. Like this established, yathā lakṣyate, yathā samyaglakṣyate, like this establishes clearly the identity between two people, which is one, by giving up the contradictory and resorting to the non-contradictory. Yathā, like tathā. Therefore, similarly, tathā, that is what he starts with. Tathā tattvamasītyatra, vākyaṃ vākyārtha eva vā, parokṣatvāparokṣatvādiviśiṣṭacitordvayoḥ, ekatvarupa vākyārtha viruddhāṃśaṃ upasthitam, parokṣatvāparokṣatvā sarvopādhivinirmuktaṃ, buddhyādi sthūla paryantam avidyakam anātmakam, parityajyāviruddhāṃśaṃ śuddhacaitanyalakṣaṇam, vastu kevalasanmātraṃ nirvikalpaṃ nirajñanam, tathā tathītyatra vākyaṃ vākyārtha eva parokṣatvāparokṣatvādiviśiṣṭacitordvayoḥ, ekatvarupa vākyārtha viruddhāṃśaṃ upasthitam, parokṣatvāparokṣatvā sarvopādhivinirmuktaṃ buddhyādi sthūla paryantam avidyakam anātmakam, parityajyāviruddhāṃśaṃ śuddhacaitanyalakṣaṇam, vastu kevalasanmātraṃ nirvikalpaṃ nirajñanam lakṣyate, anaya samyagbhāgalakṣaṇayā tathā. Tathā, similarly, like you understood in say soyam devadatta, similarly in tattvamasī also, tattvamasītyatra, in tattvamasī statement also, vākyaṃ vākyārtha eva, whether the statement or the meaning of the words in the statement don't give you the identity. Parokṣatvāparokṣatvādiviśiṣṭacitordvayoḥ. Why? Because the word meaning is tat is parokṣatvāviśiṣṭcaitanya, parokṣatvā avacchina chaitanya. Tvam is aparokṣatvā avacchina chaitanya. Wait. Maya avacchina chaitanya. Yes, Maya avacchina chaitanya, avadya avacchina chaitanya. Parokṣatvā means indirect, immediate. Aparoksha means immediate. I see you. You are in front of me. So you are immediate. But do we see God he is God, is somewhere. That is how we understand, right? So God, who is somewhere, who is beyond the scope of sense organs, so therefore he is paroksha. Akshat paraha vartate. He is beyond the scope of sense organs. Whereas you are scope of sense organs, in the scope of sense organs, right? So these contradictory, but there is consciousness, right? Buddhayoho, this is mediate associated consciousness, and you are immediate associated consciousness. He is a Maya associated consciousness, and you are a avidya associated consciousness. He is a one who has omniscience, omnipotence, etc. And you are one who has a less knowledge, some people don't even have knowledge. That's a different thing. Less knowledge, less power, etc. Right? So, ekatva rupa vākyārtha viruddhāṃśaṃ upastitam. To understand the identity between these two words is impossible because there is a one contradictory. There are the immediate and immediate, etc. Contradictory portions are there. So you cannot gain the identity between tat and tvam any which way. Therefore, parokṣatvāparokṣatvādiviśiṣṭa sarvopādhivinirmuktaṃ buddhyādi sthūla paryantam avidyakam. Therefore, by understanding that paroksha, aparoksha, the immediate, omniscience, less knowledge, omnipotence, less power, etc. These contradictory portions, which is a right from the buddhi till the gross world. Understand this. Buddhyādi sthūla paryantam. Right from the intellect till the, why did he say like that? Because the closest thing to you is a buddhi, which is antakarana. By buddhi we mean antakarana. The closest thing to you is antakarana. Right from antakarana to the inner sense organ till the gross world, whatever you see. What does that mean? Antakarana is a product of apanchikrita panchamahabhuta, if you want to see it with reference to the creation. Apanchikrita panchamahabhuta, unprocessed elements. Whereas the world is a processed element. Right from the unprocessed elements to the processed elements. Right from the antakarana till the world. Why do you have to say antakarana till the world? Why not reverse order? Because everything starts with antakarana. Antakarana transforms into vritti, and therefore you have the creation. When there is no antakarana, there is no vritti, there is no creation. Therefore, all this are, what is this? Right from the antakarana till the creation. What is that? Avidyakam. Avidyakam. It is a product of avidya. Avidyāyā bhava iti avidyaka. That which is a product of avidya is avidyaka. So they are all product of avidya. Karana karanya karya ananyatvam. The cause and effect are not seen as different. Therefore, they are all avidya. Okay? They are not product of avidya. They are avidya. There can be no distinguishing with reference to ignorance and its product. That's for namesake. There is no real difference. Like, let me explain. There is rope, and I superimpose snake on that. The snake is ignorance, a product of ignorance. Ignorance or product of ignorance? What difference? Ignorance or product of ignorance is ignorance. There is no difference, right? So, avidyakam. They are all ignorance. And since they are all ignorance, anatmakam. They are non-self. Whatever is not rope is ignorance. Rope is the truth. Whatever is non-self is ignorance. Whatever is ignorance is non-self. And the substratum is the truth. Right? So, parityajya, giving up the non-self, giving up the ignorance, kevalasanmātraṃ, nirvikalpaṃ, nirāñjanam, śuddhacaitanyalakṣaṇam. śuddhacaitanyalakṣaṇa, that which is of the inherent nature of pure consciousness. Nirañjanam, which is unassociated. Anjana means association, which is unassociated. Unassociated means association. What is the association possible? There is no association possible with anything. But ignorance. Through the ignorance association. Ignorance does not exist in any kind of association other than ignorance association. Because ignorance is not something which has existence. Only with something which has existence, another association is possible in any which way. Some yoga, some vaya, separable relationship, inseparable relationship, etc. With ignorance, there can be no real relationship. Therefore, that relationship also is ignorance. Okay, so śuddhacaitanyalakṣaṇam, that which is of pure consciousness, which is not associated with anything, attached to anything. Nirvikalpaṃ, where there is no multiplicity, plurality. Kevalasanmātraṃ, that pure existence, vastu, which is the truth. Anaya bhāgalakṣaṇayā samyaglakṣyate. Through this bhāgalakṣaṇā, it is rightly pointed out. So, when you understand this, sarvopādhivinirmuktaṃ brahma sishye. sarvopādhivinirmuktaṃ saccīdānandam advayam nirveshesham nirāvāsam atādrisham anīdrisham aniruddeshyam manādyantam anantam shantam achyutam apratarkyam pavigyeyam nirgunam brahma shishyate. So, giving up all that, we understand sarvopādhivinirmuktaṃ brahma shishyate. When you understand this, what remains? Sishyate means remains. What remains is Brahma. What kind of Brahma? Sarva upadhivinirmuktaṃ. The Brahman which is devoid of any kind of embodiment. That is what remains. Meaning, when you understand this through the bhāgalakṣaṇā, through the jagat-lakṣana, the thought function that arises is called as akhandākara vritti. So, akhandākara vritti destroys all the vrittis. When there is some object there, to kick it out, it is gone. When there is water there, so to remove that water, you throw some water, what happens? That water is not removed. You still have water there. In place of one water, you have another water. That's all. Okay? Now, one vritti, in place of one vritti, you are replacing it with another vritti. A glorified akhandākara vritti. That's all. Vritti is vritti. Thought function is thought function. What is the difference? If you ask that, then we say akhandākara vritti has a speciality. The other vritti binds you. Akhandākara vritti releases you from the bondage. And akhandākara vritti is not a vritti which takes place again and again. Sakritu. Once it takes place, over. That is the speciality of akhandākara vritti. And the inherent nature of akhandākara, the definition of akhandākara vritti is swa-para-nivartya. It removes itself and the others. There is nothing which is remaining. Once akhandākara vritti takes place, it destroys everything and it destroys itself also. It is like a suicide bomber. What happens? This fellow, he goes in between people and kills everyone. He does not survive. He also gets killed with that. So, this akhandākara vritti destroys every other vritti, including itself. Nothing remains. That is why we give an example of the stick used by the cremator in the crematorium. Today, in today's world, people have not seen that, and they have only seen electric crematorium where you put the body, push it in, it starts burning immediately, even before the lid is closed. And in 1 hour, you have the remaining, the ashes. In olden days, in villages also now they do, even now they do, they put this body on a wood and cow dung cakes, etc. And then they burn it. After that, they cover it with a paste of clay, and then it's like a kiln. It will be burning, and then next day they'll break that kiln and they'll remove the ashes for immersion purpose. Now, while it is burning, they don't allow the relatives to stay there. They'll send away the relatives. The one who cremates, he'll send away the relatives. Why? Because when there is like a vegetable which is a thought, Once it starts drying, it starts shrinking, right? So similarly, body, when it is having water, it stays straight. Once it is burnt in fire, the body, the water particles disappear, right? So the nerves start shrinking. When the nerves start shrinking, the body as though rises up in sitting position. So these fellows, they'll have a stick to beat it. You cannot see your relative being beaten, so they will send you away. And another thing, next day he will not, oh, this is the stick with which I beat your father, you will beat him. He is not going to give you a memento. So he is going to throw that inside the same fire. The stick which he used to control the fire and control the body is going to go in that fire itself. Similarly, the Maya, Akhandakara vritti is also a part of Maya, ignorance. So, the ignorance Akhandakara vritti removes all the vrittis and also self-destroys. Okay? Then, what happens is, once the Akhandakara vritti takes place, it takes place only once. There is no repetition of Akhandakara vritti possible. Once it takes place, sarvopādhivinirmuktaṃ, without any embodiment, Brahma sishyate, what remains is the self. Akhandakara vritti takes place. The problem is, we don't even understand that any vritti takes place. That is why we need to have the focus. That is why we ask people to do japa, etc. very powerfully, strongly. So once you do that, that focus comes. You will be able to understand that. Otherwise, Akhandakara vritti, even if it arises, it will be a part of the ignorance also only. They will not be able to understand it. There is no practical theory here. This is what is practical, this is what is theory. Understanding is what is practical, and understanding is what is theory. Okay? So, anyway, we'll see this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.